Now, in May 1393, Timur's army invaded Anjudan, crippling the Ismaili village only a year after his assault on the Ismailis in Mazandaran. The village was prepared for the attack, shown by its fortress and system of underground tunnels. However, Timur would not give up and flooded the tunnels by cutting into a channel overhead. Now, we don't even know why Timur attacked this village, but Timur liked to kill people. So, apart from that, also could be because of religion, because the Ismailis had a different version of Islam, and he also saw himself as God's defender and the executor of his will. In 1398, Timur invaded northern India, attacking the Delhi Sultanate ruled by Sultan Nasir ud-Din Mahmud Shah Tughlaq. He was opposed by Ahir and Jat people, but the Sultanate of Delhi did nothing to stop him. After crossing the Indus River on September 30th, 1398, he sacked Hulamba and, of course, massacred everyone inside. Then he advanced and captured Multan by October. He crossed the Indus River at Attock on September 24, 1398. However, this time he did meet resistance from the governor of Meerut during the march to Delhi. Timur was still able to continue his march to Delhi, arriving in 1398 to fight the armies of Sultan Nasir ud-Din Mahmud Shah Tughlaq, which had already been weakened by a succession struggle within the royal family. The battle took place on December 17, 1398. Sultan Nasir ud-Din Mahmud Shah Tughlaq and the army of Malu Iqbal had war elephants armored with chainmail and poison on their tusks. Man, poisoned elephants. As his forces were afraid of the elephants, Timur ordered his men to dig a trench in front of their positions. Timur then loaded his camels with as much wood and hay as they could carry. When the war elephants charged, Timur set the hay on fire and prodded the camel with iron sticks, causing them to charge at the elephants literally on fire. So basically, if you guys don't understand, we have poisoned elephants against burning camels. Now, Timur understood that the elephants were easily panicked. So, faced with the spectacle of burning camels flying straight at them, the elephants turned around and stampeded back toward their own lines. Now, even though I hate Timur, that is badass. Timur capitalized on the disruption in the forces of Nasir ud-Din Mahmud Shah Tughlaq and got an easy victory. Nasir ud-Din Mahmud Shah Tughlaq fled with remnants of his forces, and Delhi was sacked, and of course everyone was killed in it, and it was left in ruins. Now those who weren't killed were captured, and there were over 100,000 captives. Now, the capture of the Delhi Sultanate was one of Timur's greatest victories. After Delhi fell to Timur's army, uprisings by its citizens against the Timurid Empire began to occur. And, of course, what did he do? Yeah, he massacred everyone in the city. After 3 days of rebellion within Delhi, it was said that the city reeked of the decomposing bodies of its citizens, with their heads being erected like structures, and the bodies left as food for the birds by Timur's soldiers. Timur's invasion and destruction of Delhi continued the chaos that was still consuming India, and the city would not be able to recover from the great loss suffered for almost a century. Before the end of 1399, Timur started a war with Bayezid I, the Ottoman Sultan, and the Sultan of Egypt, An-Nasir Faraj. Bayezid began annexing the territory of rulers in Anatolia. As Timur claimed sovereignty over these rulers, they took refuge behind him. In 1400, Timur invaded Armenia and Georgia. Of the surviving population, more than 60,000 of the local people were captured as slaves, and many districts were depopulated. Then Timur turned his attention to Syria, sacking Aleppo and Damascus. And of course, what happened to the city's inhabitants? Yeah, they were all massacred, apart from the artisans who were deported to Samarkand. So, he said that the reason he was allowed to massacre these cities was because Hassan ibn Ali was killed by the Umayyad Caliph Muawiyah, and Hussein ibn Ali was killed by Yazid I, his successor, 700 years earlier. So, because two people were killed 700 years earlier, that justified massacring everyone in Damascus. Okay, so Timur then invaded Baghdad in June 1401. Now, after the capture of the city, 20,000 of its citizens were, massacred. Timur ordered that every soldier should return with at least 2 severed heads to show him. When they ran out of men to kill, many warriors killed prisoners captured earlier in the campaign, and when they ran out of prisoners to kill, many beheaded their own wives. Yeah. In the meantime, years of insulting letters had passed between Timur and Bayezid. Finally, Timur invaded Anatolia and defeated Bayezid in the Battle of Ankara on July 20th, 1402. Bayezid was captured in battle and died in captivity. Timur's motivation for attacking Bayezid and the Ottoman Empire was the restoration of Seljuk authority, even though the Seljuks hadn't been there for centuries. But anyways, he saw them as the rightful rulers of Anatolia, since they had been granted rule by Mongol conquerors. And this showed how Timur was interested in becoming like Genghis Khan. And when you have Genghis Khan as your hero, it kind of makes sense why you keep massacring entire cities. After the Ankara victory, Timur's army ravaged western Anatolia, with the Timurid army acting more like a horde of savages than like civilized conquerors. Then again, what do you expect from this guy? Timur did besiege and take the city of Smyrna, a stronghold of Christian Knights Hospitallers, and because of this, he called himself the warrior of Islam, even though like 90% of the people he killed were Muslims. So then, of course, a mass beheading was carried out in Smyrna by Timur's soldiers. Now, Timur was furious with Genoa and Venice as their ships ferried the Ottoman army to safety in Thrace. So while he invaded Anatolia, Kara Yusuf assaulted Baghdad and captured it in 1402. Timur returned to Persia from Anatolia and sent his grandson Abu Bakr ibn Miran Shah to reconquer Baghdad, which he did. Timur then spent some time in Ardabil, where he gave Ali Safavi, leader of the Safaviya, a number of captives. Then he marched to Khorasan and then to Samarkand, where he spent 9 months celebrating and preparing to invade Mongolia, and then China. Now, by 1368, Han forces had driven the Mongols out of China. The first of the new Ming dynasty's emperors, the Hongwu Emperor and his son the Yongle Emperor, vassalized many Central Asian countries. Now, the suzerain vassal relationship between China and the Timurid Empire existed for a long time. In 1394, Hongwu's ambassadors presented Timur with a letter addressing him as a subject. So, of course, you can guess Timur did not like being referred to as the Hongwu Emperor's slave and had the ambassadors Fuan, Guoji, and Liu Wei detained. But Hongwu's next ambassador, Chen Dewen, and the delegation announcing the succession of the Yongle Emperor didn't fare any better. Timur eventually planned to invade China. To this end, Timur made an alliance with surviving Mongols based in the northern Yuan Empire and prepared all the way to Bukhara. Enki Khan, the northern Yuan Emperor, sent his grandson Olyej Timur Khan after he converted to Islam while at the court of Timur in Samarkand. So Timur preferred to fight his battles in the spring. However, he just died during a winter campaign. In December 1404, he had begun military campaigns against China and arrested a Chinese envoy, but became sick while encamped on the farther side of the Sir Darya and died at Farab in the Timurid Empire, now Otrar in Kazakhstan, on February 17, 1405. So, as you can guess, Timur is on this list for a reason. After all those massacres, in total, he caused the deaths of 17 million people. And this was during the Middle Ages. He wasn't using guns or anything. It was all thanks to swords. So that is why Timur is on this list. Now, if you like that, don't forget to like and subscribe, watch my previous videos. And have a great day.